Hello, what is going on, everyone? My name is Justin, and I'm going to be showing you a really overpowered build in 2K21 on the current gen. Now, this build is a glass cleaning finisher. We're going to want to go to position power forward. You're going to right hand jersey number doesn't matter. I did 24 for Kobe. And then you're going to want to do the blue and red pie charts. For me, it was like 5 down from the bottom. I think it might be different for everyone, but it's the blue and red pie charts for the power forward position. Next, you're going to choose your physical attributes. Now, there's 3 that you could choose. I recommend this one, where it's speed and vertical. You can do speed and acceleration with a lower vertical, but you want a high vertical for this build since you're not going to be a center, you're going to be a power forward. So, and third option that you could do would be the balance pie chart, which is normally at the bottom of the physical profile. That gives you a little bit higher strength, but a lot lower speed and a little bit lower vertical. So I really recommend going with the high vertical and high speed, 71 speed, 84 vertical. All right, so let's get into our attribute selection now. So there's a couple different ways you can choose to go about this build. This is the first way, which I think is kind of the best way. So we're going to go up on everything and finishing besides the post hook. We're going to finish with 23 finishing badges here. Then we're going to move on down to the playmaking, put everything up in playmaking, except for post moves. You're going to want to put your post moves at a 70 to give you 12 playmaking badges. Now we're going to come down to defense. We're going to put everything up besides perimeter and defense and lateral quickness. Leave that alone for right now. All right, so we have 22 attributes remaining. So we're going to go back up to lateral quickness, put that all the way up. Now we have 22 defensive badges. So the thing about this build is you have 23 finishing, 12 playmaking, 22 defensive. That is really, really good. My build is like this, where I gave myself 24 finishing, 1 shooting, 6 playmaking, and 23 defense and rebounding. I'm going to go into how I set that up later, but I want to keep talking about the other way I set it up and another way you can set it up here. So really what you lose with the way I set it up with the 24 finishing is you lose 6 playmaking badges. So when you gain 6 playmaking badges like this, you're only losing 1 finishing. Now that 1 finishing really isn't going to make that big of a difference. But there's actually another way you can set it up here, where if you decrease driving layup down to a 64, which leaves you still at 23, you're going to be able to get 23 defensive as well and keep the 12 playmaking. So you lose 1 finishing, you add 1 defensive and rebounding by going down and filling up your perimeter defense, just like that. And you're perfectly at 23 finishing, 1 shooting, 12 playmaking, and 23 defense and rebound. Now, there's a couple pros and cons to this style of build. The obvious con here is you're reducing your driving layup to a 64. Now, I play a lot of rec with my friends, and in the rec, you don't always get the driving layup animations because there's a lot of people in the paint. So you're not going to be able to get those driving dunks all the time, so sometimes you're going to have a layup. So I wouldn't necessarily risk putting your driving layup down to a 64. That's up to you. That is however you want to play. If you want to give yourself that extra defensive and you don't really care about your driving layup, you think you're only going to be getting dunks, then go for it. I personally think you should leave it as 23 finishing, the 1 shooting, 12 playmaking, and 22 defense. That is the build I would personally go with if I were to remake this build. I made my build kind of when I first got the game, and I didn't really know any better, but after testing it, this is what I would go with. So you get the 23, 1, 12, 22 for a total of 58 badges. Now to show you what I did, just in case you want to do it and get that 24th finishing badge, you put your post moves down to a 47 to get the 6 playmaking. You put perimeter defense at a 20, all the way up to get your 23 defense and rebounding. And then what you're going to need to do is actually put that back down all the way till you get 23, right at, that's a 59 perimeter defense, don't want to put up playmaking anymore. You want to go all the way down to where it's going to be 6, and then put the remaining 10 into finishing, and you get 24 finishing. And then you have 7 left over. You could put back into that. You won't get an extra playmaking, but you could put it into your post moves if you want. I put it into my perimeter defense, though, just to give myself a little bit more wiggle room and have a better perimeter defense at a 60. Here is my final recommendation for the build. You have 23 finishing, 1 shooting, 12 playmaking, 22 defensive rebound for a total of 58 badges. It's kind of insane. It's a very good build, and with those 12 playmaking, you're going to be able to do some really cool things. And now we're going to move on to our height and weight. As far as body shape goes, it doesn't really matter. I chose built. I'll scroll through the other options here. Slight, compact, solid, defined, and burly. Burly last year gave a boost for the setting picks because you have a higher hitbox, but I don't know if it does this year. So I went with built just because I like it. So on to your height. You go 6'8". It drops your rebound stats a lot. But it boosts your speed. I wouldn't go 6'10". It drops your driving dunk by 7 and only ups your rebound by 1. So I go with 6'9" here. It's kind of a perfect balance. So on my build, I went with a higher weight to increase my strength, but I've realized strength doesn't really matter that much. So I'd go with a lower weight here. Now, I personally wouldn't go with the lowest weight of 190 here, just because it drops your interior defense by a lot. I'd probably go up to about 197. It only drops your interior defense by 7. You still get +3 driving dunk, and then you're going to get your speed to a 77. So you can see here, I'm just testing out what really happens if you go up a little bit. Now, this is what happens if you go up a lot, like what I did with my other build. I went to 245 on my other build. It did boost my strength, but it lowered my speed. I mean, it boosted my interior defense, which is nice, but I really don't think you need it. So that's why I would recommend going with 197. You get a nice speed boost. You get a nice vertical boost. You know, your interior defense goes down, but your driving dunk goes up by 3. And this is primarily an offensive build, less than a defensive build. Now, moving on to wingspan, just max it out. That's the best way to do it. Look at that, driving dunk up to a 94. That's insane. So now we're going to move into what kind of takeovers we can have. So with this build, you can actually get 3 different types of takeover, which is actually really, really good for a power forward type of build. So you have the glass cleaning, the rim protector, and the slasher. So glass cleaning, you're able to see where misses go. Like if someone shoots the ball and they miss, you're able to see where it goes on the floor. So if you want to boost yourself in your rebounding, I would go glass cleaning, especially since your rebounding are only 88 apiece, offense and defense. Glass cleaning can really help with grabbing boards. I wouldn't really go rim protector because you're not going to be that, paint force, but slasher takeover is overpowered. After playing this game for a while now, I have seen that slashing takeover is insanely good. In the park, in the rec, in the NBA, it's really good. The animations you get are really good with slasher takeover. It boosts your driving dunk by 10, so it's automatically in at 100, which is absolutely insane for this kind of build. You're going to have a super high vertical and a slashing takeover. That would be insane. Like I said, if you want to help boost your rebounding, you take glass cleaner. But I personally recommend the slasher. So now we have built our glass cleaning finisher, and you are shades of Sean Kemp, John Collins, and Blake Griffin. Even though Blake Griffin can shoot now, you're not going to be able to shoot, but that's whatever. You're going to be able to dunk all over people and still grab boards. So let's go in and set our badges. So just test yourself here at a 99. Put that all the way up. And now we can go into our badges. So the first thing we're going to do is our finishing badges. So the main finishing badges you want are Contact Finisher, Automatically Hall of Fame. That's how you posterize people. Relentless Finisher, Hall of Fame. Then next, you're probably going to want Slithery Finisher, Hall of Fame. Okay, that leaves you with 11 badges here. I'd go Consistent Finisher, Hall of Fame. That's how you do layups in this 2K. You need Consistent Finisher on Hall of Fame. Next, you could probably put on Fancy Footwork if you're good at doing hop sets, but I personally go Giant Slayer since you're only 6'9", and you will occasionally go up against those 7'3" builds. Then you could put Acrobat on Gold with your remaining 3, Or you can change it up a little bit. You could put Acrobat on bronze and then put Lob City Finisher on silver. I personally think you only really need it on bronze if you're playing online with people, but that's personal preference. Acrobat on silver or Giant Slayer on gold, Lob City Finisher on silver. That's probably what I would do since you are a big man yourself. You don't really need Giant Slayer in Hall of Fame. And then for your one shooting, there's a lot you could do here. I mean, you could do Green Machine, you could do Hot Start, you could do Range Extender, but like I said, you're not a shooter. So I personally would go with Hot Zone Hunter because that's the thing that's definitely going to give you the most boost even though you're not a shooter. So for playmaking, this is why I stress having 12 playmaking badges because you can get Break Starter on gold, which allows you to absolutely yeet passes into the fast break once you grab a board. Unpluckable because you're a big man and your ball handling isn't that great. And quick first step, so out of the triple threat, you get an explosive first step. It's going to help you go dunking all over people. And then you still have 3 available upgrades. You can go Needle Thread or Gold if you want, or Needle Thread or Silver, Bailout, Bronze. That's probably what I would do because I throw a lot of tight passes, so I need Needle Threader. If you want, you could put Bailout on Silver, or, you can test around your other playmaking. Let's move into defensive now. So for defensive, automatically, Rebound Chaser and Rim Protector, Hall of Fame. You need those as a power forward. Then you want Intimidator on Hall of Fame. And then next you're going to want Pogo Stick on Hall of Fame. Pogo Stick allows you to keep jumping up and down like an absolute madman. And it's really helpful. So then you have 6 remaining. So you could go Box Hall of Fame or Box Gold here. Now Box, since you don't have a high strength, is going to be important so you can box out your opponents and still grab boards. And then with your remaining 3, you could go Brick Wall on Gold if you think you're going to be setting a lot of screens for your teammates. If you don't think you're going to be setting a lot of screens, you could put that on Worm, which helps you get which helps you get offensive rebounds. Or you could put it on Chase Down Artist because Chase Down Artist in this game is overpowered. So what I would personally do is make those 3 at the top, Box, Brick Wall, Chase Down Artist on silver. I think if you're good at positioning, you don't really need Box on gold, and if you hold LT right, you're going to box out your opponent. So I would go those 3 on silver. Back to playmaking just to check them out again. Definitely need Unpluckable on gold because you're a big man. Break Starter on gold. And then the remaining 6 that you have, you can do what you want with. But I would highly recommend putting Quick First Step on gold and the remaining 3 doing what you want. So now we're going to move on to what team you should play for in the NBA. Now that's kind of personal preference, but you want to be on a team that has a really good point guard, and by a good point guard, I mean a point guard that's really good at passing. And you want to be on a team where you're the 4 or the 5, preferably the 4, because you don't want to go up against 7'3" guys that are just going to block all your shots, especially when you first start in the NBA. You could go to the Suns, Chris Paul, Devin Booker, good passers. Don't go to the Thunder. Don't go to the Timberwolves. You got Dame Time, CJ McCollum up in Portland. That's a good option. Obviously, Steph and Clay, can't go wrong with them. The Wizards now that they got Russell Westbrook in that trade are a pretty good team. My personal favorite team, though, are the Philadelphia 76ers. And Ben Simmons throws absolutely beautiful lobs. And if you want, guys, I can go into how I grind my finishing badges, my defense badges, and my playmaking badges on the Sixers. If you guys want to see that video, leave a comment down below and I will post a video for you guys. Now, this is actually my first YouTube video for 2K. I highly recommend this build, especially if you're tired of playing the guard, don't really know how to play the guard. I really, 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 really like this build. It's my personal favorite that I've made so far. So if you like the video, leave a like, please. I appreciate it. And if you want, subscribe because I might make some more 2K content. And like I said, if you want to see how I grind those badges, really simple way, leave a comment below and I will. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoy this build.